Cybercrime is a global issue and requires a global solution. So, hello and welcome. I'm your host, Dr. Ruby Gill, and I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all on the behalf of lovely professional university. So, attendees, you might be wondering the reason of gathering virtually. So, let me reveal the reason. We are here to witness an incredible session on the topic rise of cybercrimes and legal responses, as our expert is going to tell us all about it. So, before we commence, allow me to introduce the expert of the day. Mr. Sunil Kumar, Assistant Professor, School of Law, Lovely Professional University. An intellectual personality with an experience of a decade as an academician. With numerous awards and industry recognition, Mr. Kumar has demonstrated a strong commitment to their profession and has likely made significant contributions to the legal community. Moreover, he has not only excelled in their legal practice but has also contributed to the field through research and publications in national and international journals of repute. And his expertise lies in criminology, comparative constitutional law, intersections of law, civil liberties, and many more. So, sir, it's a privilege to have you on board with us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Many thanks to you.
With equal pleasure, I would like to welcome our admission nominee, Dr. Tushinderpreet Kaur Puller, Professor, Coordinator of CEL, Department of Counseling and Admissions, Lovely Professional University. A cognitive personality with an experience of more than 15 years as an academician. She has to her credit more than 40 research papers and books in refereed national and international journals of repute. And she has chaired numerous workshops and seminars as well. Further, Professor Buller is a mentor and guide to students, helping them develop their creative potential and providing them with the knowledge and expertise to succeed in the dynamic and competitive world. And today, she will be discussing the admission part of the university and other highlights of the university. So, ma'am, thank you so much for giving us your valuable time. Thank you so much for joining. So, with this, we'll begin our today's webinar. So, over to you, sir, and looking forward for a great interactive session.
Many thanks, Dr. Rubu, was helping a very large praise for me. On me, thank you so much. I believe we have other here for a global purpose, and I thank the management, Lovely Professional University, for giving me this an opportunity to interact with a brilliant audience over here. And I'm sure after today's sessions, you will think that the theme which we are trying to address is something which is not only very salient and relevant in contemporary times, but it has evolved a huge degree at the domestic level as well as at the international level. So, ladies, gentlemen, friends, students, and other learned people who are attending this particular session and are here with me, I thank you all that you have to taken out time from your busy schedule to listen to this particular session. Now, when we talk, look at the title of the theme. I'm sure there must be many thoughts that are coming in your mind, and these thoughts, understandably, relate to our present way of life, how we dwell. So, let me just take you to a daily routine. Like, for instance, usually you get up in the morning, and what is the first thing you reach out for? Now, I think anyone who would like to answer me, what's the first thing you reach out for when you get up in the morning? Anyone? You can raise a hand or you can use a mic. Dr. Ruby, they can answer me in case they can raise a hand and answer me back.
Of course, sir, the answer will be visible to you as well.
I see. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, the answer is there in case the answer is very simple. Okay. I'm sure you'll be, since we are just getting settled in our interaction. Now, friends, the first thing you reach out for, what I understand is nothing else with your mobile device, right? With this modern gadgetry and this new technology, okay, from the time you get up in the morning till the time you go to bed, I believe it is just walking like a father with you, side by side, alongside you. And in whatever you do, whether you are at your home, whether you are at your office, whether you are in the marketplace, or you are watching a film, whether you are generally having normal, trying to have normal conversation with your neighbor, your old time friend, whosoever that person may be. This particular technology.
All right, friends. So you are here with me again. Now, as I was saying, what is the first thing in the morning that we reach out to? It is obviously a smartphone, your hand phone, which walks with like a shadow with you, like your friend. But uh, how how trustworthy is this new friend? That is the big question, right? And is it that a good friend is always trying to help you out from tricky situations, but this new device is something which due to which sometimes pushes us into very tricky situations, right? It doesn't pull us out. But at the same time, we can also not deny the advantages and the benefits which derive from the use of the smartphone. Now, talking of cybercrime trends, now you just take a look at this particular image. Now, what do you think this particular picture indicates? Those who are with me as of now, what do you think this picture indicates? Picture sort of it's a sketch cartoons in a cartoon images are there, but are they very friendly? Are these characters visible on your screen very friendly? Do they look very friendly? Not, right? Obviously not. So these particular characters have a very devilish feel about them. And, the idea is that, and you can see there are several gadgets, computer paraphernalia, which is lying all over the place. And these represent that particular invaders or unwanted persons in your territory, whom we try to identify by different terms or names like malware, virus, worms, digital worms, etc. So this kind of words you must have heard in the past, or maybe you must have got a chance to understand to some extent that what are these particular viruses? How do they invade our system, the computer system, and cause destruction to our data, which we preserve? Now there are several keywords which will occur and reoccur time and again in our interaction trends, like data, privacy, our constitutional right to freedom of speech and expression. Then also we will be coming across several keywords like trolling, okay, online offenses. Because when we talk about cybercrime, our universe is the cyber world, right? The virtual world, and most of the things which we have, what takes place online. Now, at the very outset, I believe it will be correct for us to make a distinction, friends, between the understanding or on the understanding of crime. How do we understand crime? Now, in a very traditional avatar, crime is something which takes place in, you know, like in a marketplace or in homes or anywhere, like in physical territory. And you know that it is executed through human action and for example a dacoity, a robbery, or in very traditional sense a murder, which is killing of one person by another. In legal language we identify it as homicide. So this is very taking place in a very real world, but what we are talking about is virtual world. So at a very basic level, crime in the cyber world is distinguished from the traditional crime. So the understanding is a bit different. Here, how do you commit or execute a crime online? For instance, Indian Penal Code is the primary code which the uh, governs law and order in our country. And the offenses which are listed there are the offenses which are identified under the law, for which, in case a person commits those offense, any individual, he or she can be taken to task, and law can punish that person after holding a proper trial, right? So that is how normally we understand the whole legal procedure. Now, Indian Penal Code never had thought when it was conceived way back before pre-independence era in 1860, when it was conceived by Macaulay. I'm sure you must have heard of these names, Macaulay and the other uh, British administrators who came together, and they sat. A committee was formed, and they designed Indian Penal Code to tackle law and order issues, and several crimes offences were clearly identified. Of course, homicide is there, murder is there, dacoity, robbery, rape is all these are serious crimes of very serious magnitude. This was very clearly identified. But they had never thought that something like cybercrime is also something which they should include in the Indian Penal Code so that it can answer the needs of a society. Friends, you must understand that any penal code of a nation is something, any uh, penal code is supposed to be very definitive in its orientation. If it is very definitive and it is clearly identify the offenses which take place in the society or are likely to take place, it becomes very easy for the administrators of justice to implement law and order and maintain peace and harmony. The ultimate object for all of us remains to live in peace and harmony, isn't it? So law is just trying to help you a little bit to that and only. And ultimately, that is the whole purpose of the criminal law also. That one, to maintain law and order. Secondly, to punish those who have breached the boundaries which the boundaries which have been laid down by this particular code itself, Indian Penal Code, for instance, 1860. And now coming to the cyber world, you now, for instance, can you give me any tell me about some of the leading cyber crime? And are you aware that internet, like like you are using internet on a daily basis, 24/7, day in day out? Now you are aware that internet facilitates the commission of cybercrime. I'm sure that's not such a difficult question to answer. But can you tell me about some of the leading cyber crimes in your understanding, friends? What comes to your mind? Any one crime, anything which you must have read in newspaper, media, any crime you can tell me? Yes. Anyone who would like to take initiative? You can use the chat box or you can simply raise your hand. All right. Not a problem. Now, when we talk about some of the leading cyber crime trends, then there are several specific crimes which are now identified in the Indian Penal Code. Now, this particular Indian Penal Code, which was drafted way back in 1860, almost more than 100 years back, this was more than 100 years back. You have now it has been amended to a very great degree, and this was amended about a decade back. And several new offenses were included over and above the criminal right? You have the specific offense of and voyeurism, and then using of all this kind of crimes are there. Now, what do we understand by stalking? Now, when we talk about stalking, then stalking in the very physical scenario is something which is stalking is something which is very much in the physical sense. You understand that a person is following you and some technical glitch. All right, no problem. So when we talk about stalking, friends, stalking is something that where you expect that if someone is following you against your permission and you do not want that person company, but on the online, how can stalking take place online? Now, on the online scenario, there must be a scenario where some person is trying to either he's persistently sending you messages which to your account, to your email account, at your phone number. Digitally, he's trying to intrude, he or she is trying to intrude into the privacy, into your privacy, which is your fundamental right under the Constitution, right? So, Constitution of India is is providing us with several fundamental rights, and that is the basic premise on which we develop our understanding of cyber crimes. Because it is very important that how this whole interaction between the offender and the victim takes place, we have to understand that. So I'm just giving you an example of stalking. However, at the very outset, it is also important to note that most of the offenses, cyber offenses, you have um, are not gender neutral offenses, but visualize the perpetrator of the offenses as male in most of the scenarios, looking at the social experience. Now, there is a statement in front of you must be looking at. It was reported in Business Standard, like to prevent financial loss due to cyber fraud and to build confidence in digital payments. Union Home Ministry has operationalized a helpline number to detect and check such fraud. Now, obviously, this tells us about one kind of step taken by the union government, the state machinery, to ensure that there are safe transactions, safe digital transactions take place, and to build public faith into the system. Now, sometimes there is a mafia. It has been reported that there is a mafia at work, which is continuously trying to ring up people and promising them they have won a lottery. And at some point of time, I'm sure you must also have received such a call that you have won a lottery or you have won a big prize, and you just need to share your PIN number of your, ATM card, and they take your bank account details, and then the next moment, innocently and in a rush of excitement, when you share your data, all the money is siphoned out from your bank account. Now, this kind of phenomena is actually very widespread. And the point is that when you are chasing some criminal like criminal or any identified person whom the police has decided to chase, whether it is Charles Shobraj or whether it is Amrit Pal in the recent scenario chased by Punjab police, whosoever you identify that, okay, this is the person, he is accused of certain breaches in the law, infractions of the law, and you are chasing it. You know that person, but how do you track in the in the cyber universe? That is the main challenge. So obviously, one would require not only the help of certain experts who can handle these computer paraphernalia, who know how to track devices, because there's a GPS technology and there's a specialized training which needs to be imparted to the police personnel also. And so now there are several police commissioners who have already come up with a special dedicated cyber cell, and every state police is coming up with that. And they have their own technocrats also, people who are not really from the policing background, also helping them out to track people, because most of the crime now is executed with the assistance of technology of some kind. All right. We have seen many kind of terrorist attack in the past. For instance, Bombay terrorist attack is a very big example. Now there it was recorded that there was a lot of instructions which were being given across the board. Now based on those directions, the perpetrators of the people who perpetrated those offenses, ghastly offenses, where several people were injured and killed in those deadly attacks in Mumbai. These were operationalized and orchestrated from beyond the borders of India. Now, stalking is something which I really try to share with you, friends. I'm sure you can visualize the scenario which I'm trying to tell you, right? Now, no one would like stalking, or obviously it is an seen as an invasion of someone's privacy. Now, another linked question to the same is, I would just to provoke your thought on this. Now, is internet trolling an offense, friend? Is internet trolling an offense? Yes or no? Would you like to answer me? Has it been identified as an offense? Or what is trolling, for instance? Troll, I think, on a very daily basis. I'm sure if you are part of the, yes, uh, okay, if you are part of the social media, I'm sure trolling is a very common word which we come across. Right? Now, what do we mean by trolling? It is like you just need to type trolling, okay, on Google, and you can see endless results. You just open the newspaper every day. Everybody is being trolled. You have Kangana Ranaut, the famous actress, being trolled. You have member of parliaments, they are also being trolled, and public officials. You talk and talk about different personalities, and all these individuals are getting trolled. So, what is this trolling? You share an opinion. Let me tell you. Let me try to unravel it for you to some extent. Now, you basically, open up your social media. You are having your cup of tea. You just like to visit your Instagram account, Facebook account, and you post something. Okay. And let me share certain words with you. Okay. Please listen carefully. You can just, you tell me what could be the likely reaction. The word which I'm going to quote is the words are fact, wo- uh, the war killed my father and not Pakistan, for example. Okay, war killed my father, but not Pakistan, for example. Now, what is going to be the likely understanding? Now, you have to listen to the words which someone has posted. Now, there are opinion which is shared on very regular basis on social media. You have students, you have professionals, you have actors, you have people who are coming from various backgrounds, and they are sharing their opinion. Now, this particular sentence which I have uttered just now, it was shared by one very famous blogger and author, and she was trolled heavily. She was trolled heavily for this, and she was called a traitor for this. Whereas she said that, see, that war is something which is bad, and in a way, the implied meaning is. But she was heavily trolled with threats to her life as well. Let me give you another instance of a social media post. Today, Mumbai shuts down out shuts down not out of respect but out of fear. This was the language in the post shared on a Facebook post by two teenage girls in Mumbai, Renu and Shaheen. It was reported in the media in around a decade back. Actually, this was posted immediately after the death or passing away of a very prominent political leader in Mumbai, Mr. Bal Thackeray. Now, after this, there was a sudden reaction by the police, and police arrested these girls. At that point of time, the laws, we were struggling with the laws. Now we have the Information Technology Act of year 2000, which is trying to address lot of issues related to invasion of privacy, or is trying to deal with cases of breaches in the online universe. So when a particular action becomes crime, when does it become crime? If you are posting an opinion, and if someone has a different opinion, how is that person supposed to give response? Okay, so we don't have any code for that. And actually, trolling, we are not arresting any people for trolling as such. The point is that if someone doesn't agree with a particular view, that trolls are usually abusive in character and actually uh, cause a lot of mental harassment, right? So there are several episodes. I have given you two, and lot of and cases started developing out of these two scenarios. In the second scenario, it led to the a very famous case to which I will come towards the later part of my presentation. Now, recently, you have the observation by Union Minister of Information Technology. What does it say? It says internet is becoming toxic. All right. There is hardly any person who can escape that. And today, if you it internet was supposed to enable people to reach out to each other. Internet. What was the idea of internet when it was created? It was with a very positive thought. It was with an idea to reach out to people, to enable them to share ideas, thoughts, communicate with each other, right? These are some of the basic things which one expects from the internet. But today, this internet is becoming toxic, and the union minister just recently said, couple of months back in December 22, that law should address trolling soon. So trolling is a very troubling phenomenon where we see that the law is still not able to grapple with it, even though IT Act, that is the Information Technology Act of year 2000, and the Indian Penal Code through a category of offenses like stalking, voyeurism, or sexual harassment is trying to address some of the issues which are coming to the fore. But still, trolling is something which has not been specifically, we have not been able to address it. Normally, trolling takes place, uh, is anonymous, or it is done in such huge numbers. The numbers sometimes exceed. It is not really, there are no guidelines how to proceed with such cases where people are simply, putting up abuses or posting abuses on the internet. So there are some challenges with the regulation of the internet, and these challenges are multiplying day by day, friends. Okay, I'm sure you must also be realizing what I'm trying to convey to you. Yesterday, yesterday only, we have the Chief Justice of India, Sri Chandrachud, at the inaugural function of American Bar Association. Like he is giving an opinion, and he says, "For every little thing we do, as judges are no exception to this, for everything you write on social media, there is a threat of being trolled by someone who doesn't share your point of view, including judges." So we know that judges command a very high degree of respect in our society. And not only that, the judges, whatever the judges say or speak, is something which makes everyone sit up and take notice. So you have the Chief Justice of India just yesterday speaking at a very important function that we as judges are feeling threatened of being told by someone who is not sharing your point of view. Of course, dissent is acceptable. That is the whole idea about democracy, friends. But does it give someone license to abuse or adopt unparliamentary language? That is a question which we all have to grapple, and even law is grappling. Now there are some categories of crime: hacking, phishing, phishing with a P, all right, not with an F. Phishing. I'm not referring to that. Now these are some of the crimes which you must have heard about. Now what is hacking crime? Now, very simple. It is an act which is committed by an intruder who accesses your computer system basically without your permission. Someone who is smart at hacking the algorithm which is being used. And there is another word which sometimes you can encounter along with hacking, that is cracking. So there's a minor difference between the two. You have black hat hackers, gray hat hackers, white hat hackers. So there is some type of hacking is done sometimes by security agencies as well to take care of, to protect the computer system from any possible or likely attack. Or they may check different systems, right? So it is, so their intrusion, whatever intrusion they commit, that is to prevent the commission of any further crime, cyber crime. So there are different categories. Only thing is that in cracking, the person will be doing it maliciously, and that person is going to bypass the password which you use to log into your account. Now, just to highlight my point, there are some very famous geniuses you must have come across, like Dennis Ritchie, Thompson, the creators of Unix operating system, Sean Penning, developer of Napster, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook fame. So all of these were initially they started off their career, technological career as hackers only. Later they gained fame. Facebook almost is one of the biggest companies today and social media companies, and you know Mark Zuckerberg is a household name now. However, let me just update you that Mark Zuckerberg also did not escape scrutiny, and he was grilled and he was questioned very deeply by the American Senate a couple of years back on questions of privacy and the standard, benchmark, and ethics adopted by the Facebook company to protect people's data. Now, friends, what is your biggest worry when you go to sleep at night? You switch off your Wi-Fi, you close down your phone, your mobile phone, and you go to sleep. You would like to have a good night's sleep since you have logged off. You think you are safe, but actually the Facebook was grilled on this question, and there were many concerns about privacy. Apparently, it seems the technology they have, Facebook itself has a technology to access whatever, wherever you have browsed or whatever things you have accessed, even after you log off. So that was questioned by the American Senate to Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, and he didn't have a clear answer. And he said that, see, we are developing systems, we are developing, working on our ethical code of conduct, and it's a business model. The risk is, in case the company can have access to such kind of data, which will obviously include your browsing history, the kind of chat you had recently. The risk is if what if it is shared by any third party? Normally, when we log into the system, we usually give I permit, I agree. That's a mandatory thing. There's a list of data we share, our location. Almost we invariably we share a lot of information from our side. How safe is that information is something which is a big concern for constitutional lawyers and experts as well. And that is where Mr. Mark Zuckerberg was questioned. Anyhow, let's move on. Okay, now what does your screen look like? Does it look familiar to you, friends? What does it look like? Well, I can see I have so many messages in my inbox, but oh my God, what is this? Spam. Look at the spam folder. More than 900 messages I have received. What is this? So spamming, this is also a type of an intrusion which one we come across, right? This is a visual phenomena. Sometimes we always have to empty our spam folder. Spamming is also an activity where continuously people are trying, sending unwanted messages to you and with some attractive messages, but these are not genuine. These are not genuine, and by mistake or into the temptation, if you just click on the link, you will be directed to some site which is not safe, and maybe you may compromise with lot of your private data, which under normal circumstances you would not like to share. Phishing with the P, right? Now, this is a technique of extracting confidential information like your credit card number, username, and it is generally through email spoofing. So whatever I have just told you, like you click on a particular link shared with you, a hyperlink, unknowingly, innocently, you will be directed to a fraudulent website, web page, or link. This is an example of email spoofing. If you find it suspicious, friends, don't click it. And that is only going to be the smart move for all of you. Now, we have talked about so many things so far, friends, in our journey. We have talked about stalking, voyeurism. Voyeurism, by the way, is a category of offense in the Indian Penal Code, which uh, basically says that if any male person is trying with the use of any gadget, mobile gadget or any technology capture images of a woman when she expects to be in privacy and then disseminates it, and then that leads to the offense of viruses. So dissemination is key over there. This is a this is a new sort of a crime which has been identified. 100 years back, no one could have thought that some offense like that is also going to be there in the Indian Penal Code. So the cyber crimes are complex in nature, right? These pose threats not only to your individual self, not only to your moral conscience, not only to the societal fabric, but also to the economy of the nation, when also to the economic progress of the nation, when such kind of intrusions impede business and thought building process at a macro level. So these are complex crimes, and the most leading quality what you see over here of cyber crimes is that these are borderless. Traditionally, law agencies and the law is cleared to tackle with crimes within the border, right? Within the territory of India, we say crime can be tackled. But what about these crimes? These crimes go beyond it. Someone like Facebook has its headquarters in like with its headquarters in US, with having its parent server there. Lot of things can go wrong in many parts of the world. Then ultimately, now the court has resorted to passing orders to stop many of the handles which cause lot of where which are being used maybe to promote some propaganda or maybe to disseminate some material which is not uh, somehow is disturbing the law and order scenario. So and even now the new guidelines which have been passed, as we would like to see that recently in 2021 government came up with media regulation guidelines on for OTT over the top platform. I'm sure every one of you must be engaging with Netflix, Prime Video, and several such OTT platforms. So, but there is no consensus building on that also. That will come to towards the end. However, cyber crimes are borderless. These give anonymity to the perpetrator, and the magnitude of the crime is certainly big, undeniable. During the COVID era, friends, we have come out of the COVID era, and let me tell you that during COVID era, even India clocked perhaps in all among all the Asian countries, the if you talk about the perpetration of cybercrime, it was reported maximum from Indian territory. UN counterterrorism chief observed during COVID era a 350% increase in phishing website was reported, targeting hospital, healthcare system, and to hinder their work in responding to the COVID-19 pandemic. These are the figures, and these are very, very alarming. We have the IT Act, friends. We discussed about the Indian Penal Code as the primary, but we have a special legislation, the Information Technology Act, which not only tries to establish a system for regulation of regulation of technology, but also gives recognition to a lot of digital documents in the first place. So the one of the first thing which is uh, attained by the IT Act is that it gives legal recognition to your email or to any of the digital document executed, so that it can actually be accepted in courts of law or in for administrative purposes. That's the first thing which is achieved by Information Technology Act of year 2000. Then further, it talks about a system of redressal. But most importantly, it is also talking about several of the cyber online infractions which take place. And these are independent of what is taken covered under IPC. But whenever a case is reported, IPC provisions as well as the information technology provisions are simultaneously invoked, depending upon the nature of the crime which has been reported. Now, if we look at the preamble of the statute, that is the Information Technology Act. It is the what does it say? First of all, as I told you, it is to give legal recognition to transactions carried out through electronic data interface. The online payments which you make is recognized through this, thanks to this particular statute, commonly referred to as electronic communication. and as an alternative to paper-based methods for communication and storage of information. And to that end, this particular statute is going to amend the Indian Evidence Act, the Bankers Book Evidence Act, and the RBI. This is the preamble is like the vision of the statute, friends. We if you look at the preamble, you get to know what the statute is aiming at ultimately. Let us go forward. So there are some crimes like hacking I was telling you. For example, in section 66, you will find will provide that hacking into any digital device or system using a computer system, or 66E, capital E, publishing of private pictures of any individual without their consent on the internet or any accessible platform. Then you have 66F. So you have ransomware attacks, data breaches, all of such categories of offenses can be taken care of under 66, capital F. Section 67, friends, then publishing of any obscene material in electronic form on of various platforms. As we have seen, there is a great proliferation of such activities as well. Section 68 will be dealing with failure. What is the procedure when someone fails to comply with the orders of central government? Section 69 will be talking about failure or refusal to decrypt data as asked by the government. 72 will be talking about breach of confidentiality and privacy. So we can see that there's a range of infractions and breaches taking place on online platforms and in the cyber universe, which the law is trying to address through a very, very clear coordinated response. The legal response is definitely praiseworthy, but it is still not proving to be enough. Whether you look at the Information Technology Act or the Indian Penal Code, somehow the language, the digital language of infractions and of these cyber offenses is continuously evolving. And at the heart is, friends, Article 21 of the Constitution of India, which, as you can see on your screen, it says very simple proposition. It says no one shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. Now, what is this procedure established by law? Is it any kind of procedure? Now, in the present understanding, from a legal perspective, friends, this is a procedure which we want it to be fair, just, and reasonable. A procedure where everyone is given an opportunity to be heard before that person is arrested or detained by any police authority or by any other authority who is trying to check the proliferation of that particular crime. Article 21 is the heart of it is like that umbrella which includes many, which acknowledges several categories of fundamental rights or freedoms and protects them, gives them. Ultimately, what what is life after all? What is what? How do you lead a whole life, wholesome life, right? Article 21 helps you of the Constitution of India helps you to make sure that you lead a wholesome life, and it protects you that it says it's a directive to the state that no one in the state or in the country shall be deprived of the personal liberty except as per the procedure. So if you have a liberty to speak on social media, use devices, interact, but obviously, uh, you obviously there is a respect for privacy as well, which is also seen as a part of the fundamental freedom, right? So there is a balancing of right, and courts have tried to deal with this in a very graded manner. So we have several judgments which are passed by Supreme Court of India, like Shreya Singhal versus Union of India, K.S. Puttaswamy, where you have the right to privacy being raised to the level of fundamental right. So is privacy of an individual adequately protected on cyberspace? What is your opinion? Is it protected? Yes or no? Is it protected? There are doubts about it, right? I'm sure. Like if you look at the scrolling trolling, the specter of trolling. If you look at several other risks which are involved, there are fake news phenomena. So there are several challenges to it. Obviously, the privacy of an individual is not adequately protected, and we are looking at several challenges. All right. So obviously, to protect your system from virus attack, you install an antivirus software, and there are several things which you have to adopt, but you have to stay alert. Sometimes, even after doing that, you can fall prey to, while you are chatting on some social media, you may fall prey to several deceptions. So privacy is always a challenge, and it needs to be adequately protected in the cyberspace. Now, online trolling and posts on Facebook. Now, I relate back to something what I said in the very beginning of my interaction with you, friends. You remember I was telling you about what two teenage girls in Mumbai posted. Right after they posted, there was an initiative taken, and a petition was filed by Shreya Singhal, a law student, and in Supreme Court of India. And in this particular case, the particular provision, one provision is there, Section 66, capital A, in the Information Technology Act, which was questioned. And that particular provision allowed a wide latitude to the police and law enforcement agencies to arrest people without any solid or without any sound reason. Like it included terminology, like if someone is annoyed or by the statement of someone. Now, annoyance is a very loose term. So there were several loose terms which were used in that particular section, and the Supreme Court read down the section. In legal language, we say reading down means will court will be looking at the whole substance of the provision and will be seeing whether it meets the test otherwise of the whether it is otherwise meeting the test of how a particular legislation should be, whether it is sound or not on all the parameters. So that is how the court analyzed and declared that that particular section as unconstitutional, and said that it is very widely worded. The words used are vague, and it gives unwanted latitude to police authorities to detain anyone, under which these girls, teenage girls, were detained, and they never had thought in their wildest imagination that they will face such a situation. And there was no check mechanism. Also, there was nothing provided in the legislation to say that there was no threshold given that if X person is saying this, then over here the boundary is crossed by him or her, and then that person can be detained or questioned or restrained from posting anything further. Right? So this was one very leading case, friends, just for your update. These are the laws I've been trying to address and discuss with you, all these laws, all these five. Okay. This is further to motivate you to read a little bit further on your own, and you can get back to us at any point of time in future for a further discussion. We dealt with information technology law, friends, IPC. CRPC is a procedural law essentially. So whenever you file a case, after the filing of the FIR and the CRPC is done, then the investigation part comes, which is discharged by the police, and then first one to that, the trial begins. So all of that procedure is take, taken care of by the CRPC. The IT, Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code is very recent, friends, and this ethics code is something which is trying to regulate the OTT platforms, over the top platforms, trying to regulate content over it. However, there are several social media platforms and several other agencies. They are not really totally in agreement with these guidelines, and there's a constant debate on this. Now, what is the biggest challenge which we face in the current scenario, friends? The biggest challenge which we face is of cybercrime, and these crimes are disturbing the social fabric. Just 2 days back, if you have read the newspaper, the inventor of the mobile telephony 50 years back, he said that he never had thought that this is going to be the scenario today, where people are continuously glued to their mobile phones, smartphones, even if they are going for a casual walk in the park, right? So we can, as society, As a democratic society, we can fight this cybercrime together, friends. And it is for the technocrats, for the state agencies, as well as for corporate leaders to understand the challenges. Now, let me tell you, sometimes there are several corporate frauds take place, but sometimes companies do not report it, maybe due to stigma, or they may feel that it will cause loss of revenue. Ultimately, consensus has to be also built at the corporate world about how these cyber crimes can be fought together, because it causes loss to the economy in one way or the other, because all of the operations are taking place online these days. What is the responsibility of the state in such a scenario? My dear friends, to my mind, and I'm sure you will agree with me on this ground, state has a responsibility to give information, to respect people's right to know, which is a fundamental right. We also have a separate legislation in this regard. So state must give proper information about the safeguard which is it is adopting, the kind of internet services which are there. In case there is an internet shutdown, it should be so regulated that the basic rights of people or the right to access to information is not compromised clearly. Then the state has to make every citizen adequately aware about the this kind of technology. Can everyone access internet? What about what about people below poverty line? What about marginalized section of society? So state must take steps to build certain infrastructure and to train them also to use online transaction platforms and facilities like Paytm, PayZapp, and educate them to ensure compliance to IT laws and norms. And there should be a building of a safe ecosystem. Equal access to internet is one of the basic rights. And I think Supreme Court is already on its way to even declare equal access to internet as a fundamental right, adding to several more of the fundamental rights. And ultimately, it is to ensure justice for all. The focus of policy is shifting, friends. There is more likelihood of cyber fraud and proliferation of child pornography is a very grave problem which is emerging now. And we need a research-oriented approach, and we need pragmatic solutions from technocrats and professionals to deal with such threats. And ICT tools obviously have to be used to the hilt. And law is something, friends, which answers the legal response is always to what the society needs. Okay, law responds to the needs of the society. There is a continuous dialogue between law and society. So law cannot act in isolation. It must understand what are the requirements of the victims of cyber fraud, cyber crime. What is it that the state can do best, and it should be continuously revised. I mean, it cannot stand static law in this field. So such a mechanism should be devised where policies is revised not after a decade, but perhaps on very more regular basis. The Media Ethics Code of 2021 was previously introduced in 2011. So after a decade, the state revised it. I think it should be done more often. So the way ahead for all of us is that the government assets infrastructure uh, should be geared in such a way that it leads to good socioeconomic health, and military is also accordingly assisted. They have the most advanced technology, and but the cyber security is important all the time. So we should have a cyber security society, and we have to work towards capacity building. Capacity building would basically imply that we need to educate one another. Cyber awareness should be more, so that ultimately all of us in this society become converge together and make India cyber resilient. So with that, I leave you with a message, a thoughtful message, friends, in case you in your capacity, wherever you are, whether you are a student, whether you are a homemaker, housewife, professional, lawyer, you can be the change which you want to see in this world. So let us make India a cyber resilient India. Thank you so much for hearing me out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for this great message and for your insightful, informative, and impactful presentation as well. And your expertise and knowledge in this field is evident from the quality of the discussion we had today. And your insights and perspectives provided valuable information to our attendees and helped to deepen their understanding towards this topic. So, thank you so much, sir.
Uh, Thank you, Dr. Ruby, and thank you also, Dr. Sushinder ma'am, for joining us here and the whole team, LPU team. I'm sure the audience is going to greatly benefit this, and it was my pleasure really to be part of this particular interaction. So I wish everyone all the best in their cyber experience.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, we will quickly take one question and then we'll
Please,
move on to our admission part. Yes, sir.
please.
So, sir, recently there has been an incident where one person was frauded online of over 50 lakh rupees. And now, when I read about it, it was written only certain amount will be returned, will be refunded. So, can't we have laws to tackle this situation?
Certainly, definitely. When a kind of cyber fraud has happened, I'm sure the person is talking about the phenomena where, let us say, a fraudulent call has been received or he has responded by sharing his vital details. In most of the scenarios, sometimes when the police begins its investigation, it has to and it tries to track down from where the calls are made, and it before it tracks down, lot of the money, if it is in liquid form, it may have been already blown away. So you catch the criminal, but we don't. It's not a guarantee. But yes, what the state can do when we are looking at the cyber fraud, and that wherever they maybe we can try to compensate to the extent possible. But this would really call for a certain kind of legislative initiative on this part. But it is, I think, on case to case basis. It's your as of now, it works like whatever recovery the police is able to do. If the police is able to recover the whole amount, it works in your favor. If it is not, then I'm sure you are losing, you lose your money over there. So that's the gap. I think the legislature can certainly help us with.
All right, sir. All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for resolving the query. And thank you so much, sir. And we have few queries from the admission part as students are eager to take admission in LLB and LLM. And for that, we had an expert with us, Dr. Tushinder Preet Kaur. So, ma'am, over to you, please. Navigate the students through the admission process of the university. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruby. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruby. Very good evening to each one of you. I am shifting your focus from rise of cyber crimes to what we all have in our university, or what a particular student looks in before joining any university. So to initiate with, I know you might be having different expectations. So just on a high note, I would do highlight that 13 students from lovely professional university participated in Tokyo Olympics 2020, and they brought laurels by winning various medals. So to highlight, we have Neeraj Chopra and the other members of the hockey team, including Manpreet, Bajrang Punia, and others. They brought laurels by winning various medals. Then, if I talk about the alumni, there are alumni, those who are working over 1 crore packages across the every nook and corner of the globe. In addition to this, the intellect bent of mind travels from the top to the bottom. Dr. Ashok Kumar Mittal, he's Chancellor, Lovely Professional University, and he's the Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha. He made the historic address at the House of Lords, British Parliament, London. So you can well imagine how the top authority, what is the bent of mind, and it is passed on to the every level. Now, I'm pretty sure you might be thinking about the university, what rankings the university is having. Times Higher Education has ranked LPU as the 23rd rank. The Ministry of Higher Education, Government of India, that is NIRF, has ranked Lovely Professional University among the 47th university among all government and the private universities. In addition to this, the Ministry of Education has ranked specifically the School of Law as the 13th school among the all NIRF, among all government and the private law institutions in India. The list is long, but I am going to highlight a few of them. The World University with Real Impact ranking has ranked university as the second among the top global band from 101 to top 200 universities. The story doesn't end there. This is just the last ranking which I would be highlighting. The Atal ranking of institutions on innovation and achievements has ranked Lovely Professional University as the third university. So you can well imagine the level of research which university is providing. Now, I'm pretty sure you might be anxious to know about the campus life and what kind of exposure the university is offering. And definitely you should think about that. The university proudly hosted 106th Indian Science Congress, which was inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. You might have seen, or you might recall, you might visualize the things that certain initiations were done at that moment. In addition to this, this is a glimpse, which is not a face not new to you. He's Dalai Lama ji, who graced the convocation of LPU at various levels. This is a glimpse where you can see the two presidents of the country, one of Afghanistan and another of India, gracing the convocation at Lovely Professional University. So we do invite your entrepreneurial ideas. This is a glimpse of our late corporate finance minister, Shri late Arun Jaitley ji, who interacted with the students, who initiated with the startup school and gave the orientation to the students to start the entrepreneurial ideas, the initiatives at a very right age. Yeah, with a spiritual bent of mind, the face is not new to you. He's Gaur Gopal Das ji, who interacted with the students and initiated and discussed the different ways to lead a life, which is nowadays very important. Yeah, apart from the great leaders, we do invite the main personalities. I'm sure you might be a fan of Shah Rukh Khan. So we do invite the celebrities, Shah Rukh Khan and Deepika Padukone, the glimpse of whom you can see right now. They also visited the campus and interacted with the students. So Mahendra Singh Dhoni, he also visited the campus and interacted with the students. So continuing to the infrastructure, university's infrastructure is one of the biggest and the largest infrastructure. So I'll be showing you the glimpse. So this is university's amphitheater, which is used to organize various events like Nukkad Nataks. Shanti Devi Mittal Indoor Auditorium. University basically have 3 auditoriums. This is the biggest auditorium, which is used to organize various events, workshops of the levels of the national and international repute. This is somehow the heart and soul of the university, I'm pretty sure, and I will definitely advise you, once you visit the campus, do visit this area. Let me show you the inside view of this heart and soul of LPU. You will be getting all wide variety of the things, starting from the stationery to laptops to any kind of accessories. We have dominoes. You think of a brand, we do have over here. So we do have the incubation centers. We invite your entrepreneurial ideas too. Yes, the purpose is to bring you on the academics part. We do have 9-storied library, wherein more than like 20 black books are there, and the softwares, you have an idea, research idea, we do have a solution for it. So just to bring you out from the academic monotony, we do have bowling alley. The people who are gym freak, we do have this option for you. With a lot of trainers, with specialized facilities. All these facilities are provided to our students. We do care about your health. God forbidden, if you fall ill, we do have the hospital facilities, the glimpse of which you can see. We have the doctors with us. We do have 24/7 medical facility available for you. God forbidden, if you fall sick, we do have all the arrangements. So don't worry about it. Give your 100% to your studies. We do have Shanti Devi Mittal Indoor Stadium with wide variety, world-class facilities. The pool, which you can see, it is all-weather pool, badminton courts, shooting range. So lot many things, yoga room, aerobics, gym, lot many things are there. This is the day view of the university. You can see the university is spread across the 57, 58 blocks. And this is the night view of the university in general and particular in hostel. So I'll show you, I'll advise you to click a pic of this particular slide. You can get back to us. You can search on lpu.in. You write your queries at admissions@lpu.co.in. And these are our helpline numbers. I'll route you, I'll take you to the website. So, for any kind of a query, like I'm writing lpu.in. I'll be writing, again, I'll sharing a screen. Yeah. So once you write lpu.in, you need to go to admissions. Therein, you need to select the programs, right? Once you select the programs, as the photo of this particular webinar was on cyber crimes, means for the law related programs. So I will be identifying, I will be selecting law as a discipline. And then wherein the programs which are floated as BA LLB honors and BB LLB honors. So just to iterate the things what we are having, I have clicked on BA LLB honors. This is a 5 years program equivalent to 10 semesters. The eligibility clearly mentioned 60% in 10+2 plus the university's exam or CUET or CLAT would be there. LPU NEST, university's national entrance and scholarship test. CUET is the common university entrance test, whose dates are somewhere in the month of May. Those who have already applied, our best wishes from our side to appear for the exam and to bring laurels and to go ahead with the different admission process. So continuing with this, rankings I talked about, the curriculum part, the input part, resource person has already mentioned in detail. You can also view it by sitting at your place, that what academic input will be given to you. Now, directly landing up to the fee structure. The fee for this program is 1,20,000. But don't worry, we acknowledge the hard effort of yours and we provide the scholarship on different categories on the basis of your previous percentage, on the basis of your performance in LPU NEST, maybe on the basis of CUET. Different parameters are there which have been listed on the website. But mind it, one best scholarship will be given to you. And the scholarship ranges from 30% to 40%. So I'll show you the scholarship types of scholarships I talked about. Qualifying exam, it is +2. LPU NEST, on the basis of exam which you will be appearing. On the basis of UG CLAT, on the basis of other scholarships, but one best scholarship will be provided. Now, there are certain important dates which I want that you should definitely cater to. The online registration has already started. The date to apply LPU NEST, it is 10th of this month. Don't wait for the last date. Your exam will be conducted till 15th of this month. Result will be displayed on 18th of this month, and the counseling and seat preference, because this program is much preferred. So people prefer law, and they'll go ahead with the online preference of the seat, and then its result would be there and certain dates will be communicated to you. But I'll advise you not to stick to the last dates. Plan your decision well in advance. I'm sure once you will scroll this page, if you have any query, you can connect to us by scheduling a call through WhatsApp also. We are available for live video counseling. Like I am interacting with you. You click on this, provided you have Zoom with you, you can interact with the expert counselors. 360-degree view. I'll advise you to definitely look on the 360-degree view of the campus. You will definitely enjoy that. Before coming, if you go ahead with this, and we welcome you to visit the campus and have a clear view of how the university looks like. And you can also search what all offices are there in your town. And if any kind of a query is there, do write to us on the mail ID which I told you to write. So Dr. Ruby, I'll take a second. We do have a series of webinars which I want the aspirant should be aware of. So again, I'm going back to admissions. On the left side, we have LPU's Edu Fair and webinars. So students, the university is investing a lot for your career. We are there to handhold you, but do take proper advice of the resource persons. You can look on this page, you can see on this particular page the list of upcoming webinars are there. So it's not like if you have attended one webinar, you cannot attend the another webinar. You register. If you have already registered, we welcome you. If you have not registered, you simply click on register, or you can scan the QR code. So it is the matter of your career. Give your 100%. We are there to handhold you. We welcome you to visit and take your decisions according to you. Over from my side, Dr. Ruby.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for elaborating in such a great manner that I don't believe there is any kind of confusion left for the attendees to reach us out. So thank you so much, ma'am. And with this, ma'am, allow me to wrap up the webinar. All right.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. So that attendees, that's all for the day. My heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for for attending this webinar on the topic Rise of Cyber Crimes and Legal Responses. Your presence, participation, and support was instrumental in making this webinar a great success. And experts, thank you. You have brought valuable insights and expertise to the table, and your presentation and discussion were both informative and engaging. And we understand that your time is valuable, and we appreciate the effort you took to join us and help to create an environment of collaboration and learning for the attendees. So thank you so much. And attendees, we look forward for hosting such more informative webinars. And for that, keep a check on our website, that is www.lpu.in. And until next time, I, Ruby, will finally sign off the session. Thank you, everyone.